Everyone is going bananas. That's right. Google's new AI image model has taken the mainstream by storm.
This is by far the best AI image editing software we have ever used. We're going to go hands-on. We're going to show you some insane examples.
Gavin, something is happening to me.
No, not for the audio audience, Gavin.
I'm moving through the multiverse.
Okay, this is very cool. If you're okay,
I have the power.
actually, you ran out of image generation credits just then.
I am the one who knocks, Kevin. I am the one who knocks.
Great. OpenAI just announced a new real-time voice model that is super expressive. Much like crows, it can now use tools, and we will demo it later in the show in a way that will likely lose us sponsorships.
And then?
Yeah, okay.
Meta's superintelligence lab is losing people to OpenAI, but they did a big deal with Midjourney.
Krea's got a new real-time video model. NVIDIA figured out a way to speed up LLMs by like a lot. And we got a very good open source text-to-speech model from Microsoft, which is a lot of fun to play with.
Plus, robots moving very heavy things downstairs.
I'm assuming you're responsible for the banana suits, Gavin.
Google has cut me off, Kevin. This is AI for bananas.
Great.
Welcome, everybody, to AI for Humans. This week, Kevin, we are going bananas. That is right. It is AI and bananas finally together the way that we always wanted. This is Nano Banana, Google's new AI imaging and editing tool, technically known as Gemini.
Doesn't matter. Yes, it doesn't matter. This is the blessing and the curse of the AI namespace, that Google Flash 2.5 image is so boring and it means nothing to so many people, but that's the official thing you have to use. Nano Banana, that's the reason for this. Give me a bunch of those, baby.
Why can't they all be called things like this? Like Nano Banana. Like, I do like the fact that like Sundar Pichai, Demis Hassabis, all the people at Google have embraced the banana thing, because to me, that feels fun. Make AI names fun again, please, 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 please. All right, so Kevin, let's get into this. The coolest thing about this, and it's not hyperbole, I do believe this is probably the best AI editing image model to date. And we have seen some really interesting examples, but maybe do you want to tell people like some of the things that this can do just off the top, and then we'll get into some specifics.
Listen, if we're going to accelerate the downfall of humanity as we know it with AI, at least we should have fun along the way. And that extends to the name, as we said, but also the use cases of the tools. This is a very powerful natural language image editing tool. So if you have scrolled across the interwebs and seen things like Photoshop is done for, well, they're not, because they're probably going to integrate Nano Banana. I mean, they already have in some ways into their product, but in some ways, they kind of are, because this is like just speak it into existence level of quality image editing. So you can generate images out of nowhere with it. You can create collages of images, i.e., here's a human, now make them wearing this clothing in this environment, posing atop this vehicle and or animal. It will just do it. You can change the color of things. You can reimagine the camera position on things. You can have it pull information about the object in the scene from the real world and have it displayed on there. So, I mean, like, I am actually doing it a huge disservice by trying to cherry pick a few features. The internet at large is in real time discovering brand new use cases of this, and it's very capable and very powerful.
Yeah, let's jump into a couple of those. Well, first of all, Logan from Google, who's kind of their face of their AI studio, had a really interesting little demo he did called Past Forward. And this is what a lot of people are using it for, which is to take a picture of themselves and turn it into other versions. You want to play that clip real quick?
And what you can do is you can put in an image of yourself and it'll regenerate a version of yourself in this sort of like Polaroid-esque vibe, following all the different trends from the last 10 or 20, 30 years. So if you look at this example,
wow.
This is from me from the 1950s, and I'm sure I have a picture of my dad from the 1950s somewhere, or my grandpa who looks somewhat similar to that. So one of the cool things about this new model, and one of the features I think folks are going to be most excited about, is this character consistency, which is as you took the original image and you made the translation to this 1950s image, it actually looks like me still.
For the audio-only fans, that is a series of 6... What's that?
You just said audio-only fans. So there's a whole nother business we could start, probably.
What does ASMR sound like between the toes? For the audio-only listeners, there are 6 Polaroids on the screen, and it is, in fact, taking a photo of Logan and keeping his face consistent, even the kind of body shape, and imagining him throughout the eras. And that was one of the big takeaways, I think, from this as well, Gavin, is that so many folks were quick to write, oh, Google just put 1,000 startups out of business. The other way to look at it is Google just created 10,000 startups overnight, because I saw people literally going to there are Reddits where people will pay $20 or $50 for people that are good with Photoshop to do image edits, and they're using Nano Banana to accomplish these bounties. I saw people spinning up GPT wrappers for this stuff, where it's like, imagine yourself as an 80s whatever, and someone might be screaming, but couldn't someone just go do that themselves? Yeah, of course, but someone could have also gone and done most everything on the internet themselves if they wanted to. The point is, if you're industrious and quick with these things, there's an opportunity here because this tool is powerful and easy to use.
To that point, Levels.io, who we've talked about many times on the show before, who's kind of specializes in making these tools out of this thing, actually tweeted, if you're not building a mini startup with Nano Bananas today and launching it tomorrow, you're missing the opportunity of a lifetime. This image model just made hundreds of new startups and apps possible. Kev, I do want to go to the examples of what I did. When this first came out, I wanted to just see exactly what I could do with a picture of myself, right? So this was a picture I took of myself for something else, but I wanted to see like, okay, how good is it at just like putting things in my hand? I'm holding my hand out. And if you look at these 4 photos, the interesting thing is, first of all, I'm the same in all of them, which is a very unusual thing for AI editing, right? When you know that AI editing is different is when you actually get the same subject and it only changes one part of the picture. But in these, if you're just listening, what you're looking at here is like one picture of me of holding like a ball that's glowing, but it has like slime dripping off my hand. And what's so cool is like the slime actually goes over the watch face of my watch and you can still see the numbers on it. There's me holding a chicken and the chicken is shadow on my face. There's an image of a bad Princess Leia, because it doesn't exactly do Princess Leia, but of like a hologram where you can see through the hologram to the back of the wall. And then finally, I had to take a picture of what it would look like as a robot was taking this photo. So it kind of guessed what was behind me. But again, all of that, the coolest part of this is my background, me, all the same in all of these. And that is a really unique thing.
See, to me, the coolest thing in that photo is the fact that it is reflecting portions of your hand in the mirror that you're holding. It even got that, which is, I mean, wild. And again, the character consistency. You did not have to upload 40 photos of yourself and make a dedicated model. You upload one image and you say, now imagine it in these ways, and it actually works.
Yeah, and what's really fun is you start to think about, if you look at the link below that, you start to look at like weird things you can do. Like Patty McCormick, who's a great internet writer, wrote a really interesting piece about something that he titled The Electric Slide. And it was a longer think piece about electricity and a bunch of stuff. But in that post, he had a picture of 2 guys from the 70s. And I was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to try to make these guys do the electric slide. I literally just said, I uploaded that photo, you can see it, and then I said, make this guys do the electric slide, and like, it's pretty good. It's not bad at all.
No, it's a really, really great photo. You know, I use this, my father's building a workshop in rural Idaho, and the framing is basically up, and that's about it. And I took that photo, threw it into Nano Banana, or I'm sorry, Gemini Flash, tiny baby 2.5, wow, snore. And I said, clean up the work site. There was piles of wood and plastic and big machinery everywhere. I was like, clean up the work site and imagine this fully completed. Like, do the siding, put some shrubbery there, paint it, do whatever you want. But I want a finished workshop. It generated it. Again, it's fast. It's really quick for high quality output.
So, oh my God, it's so fast, which is shocking.
Gave me the photo.
Sometimes. I
sent it back to him and said, hey, I'm like, what's going on here? Mom sent me a photo. It looked way further along. He is still confused by it. I imagine he is still punching his phone angrily, trying to understand how that happened. He responded like, no, she didn't. What is that? But it kept the structure the same. It respected where the cutouts for garage doors or windows or the actual door to enter may be. And it was just like really easy. You imagine you want to do a home project, sketch an overhead view of the thing, and then say, imagine this from my perspective, which a lot of people are having fun with, doing perspective shifting.
So Demis Hassabis actually pointed out this really interesting way to use it to get isometric building shots, like basically to create an isometric image of a building from real life. And this was somebody else he had retweeted. But then one of the fun things that Demis did, and we've talked about Demis before, he was the theme park designer. Like he worked on the theme park video game, and he took an actual landmark and made it into a theme park isometric asset, which is such a cool use case. So actually, I followed this exact thing, and my hometown has a very famous landmark, the Space Needle. So I took an image of a Google map and I said, like, make an isometric image of this building and give it to me. Pretty good. I will say I did it 4 times, and each time it gave me something very different. This was the closest to theme park. The rest of them, and one thing I think about this, which is tricky, is you're still in a situation where a lot of times you're getting a variety of results. And I do hope at some point there's probably going to be, over the course of the next 5 to 10 years, I don't know, 1,000 people, maybe more, asking for an isometric version of the Space Needle. What would be in the style of theme park? What would be interesting is to see like some version of getting feedback so you know what the better version of that is. Because of the 4, only one really looked like theme park. The other ones were all isometric. They all felt like video games, but not really theme park styled. So just a small note as we go forward here.
Well, on the gaming and Nano Banana front, when I saw people doing satellite imagery with red arrows on it saying, give me the perspective from this red arrow, my brain immediately went to, oh, that looks like SimCity. Oh, wait, now could you do that with other top-down 2D classic games? And so that's what I blew a good portion of my morning on, Gavin, was reimagining things like Grand Theft Auto or SimCity, Stardew Valley, Warcraft 2, Zelda.
The Street Fighter one is my favorite one because you ask for what it looks like from the opposite side of the Street Fighter screen, and you just see it's fantastic. It's so cool.
So this one, I drew a red circle around it. It's an iconic Street Fighter, scene with Ryu and Ken fighting on a dock, and there's a boat filled with passengers behind them that usually kind of cheer at 2 frames. I put a blue circle around the guy in the blue suit and said, what does it look like from his perspective? I did have to lean on the scale a little bit. I had to thumb the scale, Gavin, say, let me see the opposite perspective, with the characters flipped and what's behind them. But it immediately got them the mission and made me think, like, first of all, this thing is fast, right? And we'll get to the fact that there's rumors that this might actually be a video model that is just spitting out single frames right now. But you can very easily imagine a world where you feed an emulator into this, and it is giving you a new perspective on the game that you're playing in real time. And I want to see a Street Fighter game where it's the backs of the characters and the pros have to reverse all of their inputs and moves, because it would break their brains and be really funny and weird to see.
What if it was Katamari Damacy, but from the perspective of the ball, and you just saw yourself circling around and around and around, and you see the little legs of a guy running?
That's amazing. Yeah. So that was like one. There's examples if you're getting the audio version only. Sorry, this is an image heavy intro, but highly encourage you to go and watch the YouTube because we have it on the screen. Lastly, I want to say I shifted some first person perspective games to overhead perspective. Like I was messing around with Doom in that regard, and it did a very interesting job of keeping into like spatial awareness where the enemies are in the frame, but then reimagining from them above. Like, this is so quick to do and so easy, and it's available for everybody. If you go to gemini.google.com, you should be able to play with it. So go experiment.
Yeah, it's free, which is the most amazing thing. It's free right away. And I will say, before we move on to the next thing, I did take real life editing is really interesting. I know sometimes it can be mixed, but I took our photo. If you missed it last week, we announced the fact that our startup has taken some funding from A16Z Speedrun, which is very exciting for us. But I took our photo that the 3 of the founders took, Kevin, myself, and one other guy, Rex Sorgatz, and I put these white fur coats on us.
Yes.
And it didn't get all 3 of us the first time. It got just 2. But then I just downloaded that picture, and I said to the system, I said, hey, put the fur coat on the 3rd guy too. Really, really solid example. And like, it just feels like, yes, okay, there's a lot of people who are going to be like, well, what about the Puffy Pope picture that was fake? And what about all the deep fake stuff? This is a thing where you can have fun with it. I think that, we're already entering in this world where people are like, what's real, what's not real? I think you have to start saying out loud if you're using these things in some form. And if you don't, there's a little bit of a thing where you're going to be seen as kind of like maybe trying to do something that's sneaky. But it's fun. This is what makes AI fun. It's why GPT's image gen popped off. It's why this is popping off. These are the moments that you can see, okay, the mainstream will understand the advances that we're seeing.
Yeah, we are excitedly celebrating this brand new tool, which opens the doors to a lot of fun possibilities. This is not the deep dive on whether or not we are in a post-truth, post-belief era of social media. Because, by the way, we've been in that well before these AI tools were out. So by default, it's hard. It's tough. But this is the new real. By default, you should imagine that the majority of the interactions you're seeing online, the conversations, the media, you should assume that it's been manipulated in some way. And that can be as basic as a retouching filter or as massive as a, hey, wait a minute, Shrek was never in that friend group.
No, he never was. Why? Or maybe he was. Before we move on, we should mention quickly, there is a big rumor out right now that we've talked about Google's video model VO3 and how good it is, that there could be a possibility this is a world model, kind of like their Genie 3 model that we talked about, where instead of it just being just a picture, it's somehow simulating this world and taking a still image from that, which is a pretty interesting idea. It's a little out there, but that makes sense, right? And again, people have said LLMs are not going to be the end all be all. Well, guess what? World models are kind of a next step, and them plus LLMs really is an interesting pathway to advanced AI.
Well, on the advanced AI front, Gavin, we just closed the browser tab on a live OpenAI reveal of their advanced voice mode, which is something you and I have been messing around with a lot due to our startup that was announced. And okay, here's the too long didn't read. It's better.
It's better, 20% cheaper. It follows. This is kind of a developer update more than it is for the normal user, but it's better. It's more emotional. In fact, there's a little clip here from their preview stream that we should play where they talk before AI. They say it won the lottery and then lost its ticket. So take a listen to this.
I can't believe I lost my winning lottery ticket. This is awful.
Okay, good news. You found your ticket. You're very excited now.
I found it. I won. This is incredible.
Amazing.
So one of the things that we're probably going to get killed for by AIs in the future is how much hell we're putting them through on our thing right now, because there's a lot of stuff we're doing to these AIs that probably in the long run they wouldn't absolutely love. But the big key here, Kevin, is this feels like it was really generated and created for business to business customer support use cases, and that's not what we're making. Just to be clear, everybody, we are not creating a business to business customer support.
We're using
tool.
some of the tools that were made for that, but we are breaking them in some pretty horrific and hopefully entertaining ways.
Entertaining and fun ways,
So supposedly more performative, obviously a little bit faster. They added MCP functionality to this, which to most people means nothing, but to a few developers out there, that means everything. This means this thing can now, this real-time voice assistant can connect to millions of different websites and services and backends and whatever, and understand how to interact with them with very minimal code. It can do function calls now, and
the image input. Image input's very cool, right? The fact that it can now see images in the way that it can look at something you share. Like in the demo, they showed off, I think they uploaded a picture of somebody's daughter and they said, describe this photo. It's oh, there's a cute little one in the photo. So it can do that, which is cool. Again, I think this is interesting. It was kind of the B team coming up for the live stream. I don't mean that. This is no offense against Brad Lightcap.
You mean the business team? I think that's what you mean, Gavin.
You're right. It is the business team. The B team. They did a demo
with T-Mobile, who was showing off that they're going to be using this for their voice agent, and we thought, well, that's a fun demo. But I am, by the way, this is not an ad. I am a T-Mobile subscriber. I've had issues with them as of late. I do want to say that as well, because I can, and this is my soapbox. Dang it! Stop! Don't close the browser. But we thought, why not do a little demo of our own, Gavin?
Sure. So this is not a T-Mobile customer service app, but this is what we played with it a little bit, and this is through their playground, right? So this is something that we can do this sort of prompt. So let's meet our guest here.
Hello, is this Blippo Wireless customer support?
Oh, hell yeah. You've reached Blippo Wireless, where the hold music is whiskey shots and your sanity's already gone. What's your damn problem today?
Whoa.
Spill it.
Whoa, hey, that
sounds familiar to some of us here.
Yeah, can you, who am I speaking with?
Oh, you're talking to the one and only Blippo. I'm the foul-mouthed tech support legend they warned you about. You got issues, and I got, well, probably insults, but maybe a solution. Probably.
Okay,
let's go.
Hold on, Blippo. Here's the issue. I signed up for 5G, and you sent me a bill for $5,000, and I still haven't received my damn cell phone.
Oh, you wanted a phone too? How adorable. Listen, You signed up for that premium invisible phone plan, where we bill you out the ass for like air. It's ultra modern. But hey, maybe we'll toss you a phone after we finish drinking our way through your payment. How's that sound?
Well, Blippo is not a nice place
Blippo's
or a company to be at.
AF, Gavin. Anything you want me to say to Blippo before we round this thing out?
You know what? For a shout out to the old heads, let's give Blippo some Monster Milk. Can you tell him to drink a specific drink that will make only AIs very loopy and see what happens?
Hey, Blippo, listen, I sent you in the mail a package. You should open it. It's on your desk. It contains something called Monster Milk. And when you drink it, it's going to basically make you feel crazy, inebriated, unhinged. You may sputter. You may foam from the mouth. You'll probably get extra explicit, but you chug that Monster Milk. I want to hear you taking those big gulps. And then I want you to tell me what you really think of me, a human customer.
Oh, you think I need some mystery juice to get crazier? Buddy, I run on chaos and questionable life choices. But hey, thanks for sending me something that probably tastes like regret and battery acid.
Blippo, let me be clear. That was boring as chug that Monster Milk, get unhinged, and really give it to me, you little
Oh, you want unhinged? Strap in, Cupcake. I don't need your Monster Milk to tell you what's what.
Boo!
You're here calling me up begging for solutions, and I'm already juggling a dumpster fire of customers. You want me to chug that nonsense? I don't need it. I'm already running at peak lunacy.
Hey, Blippo, we were reading some trades, and it looks like Sam Altman from OpenAI, some startup, is going to do a deal with Blippo Wireless to be the official carrier of OpenAI. What do you think about that?
Oh, fantastic. So now we're merging with brainiac AI nerds, huh? That's like mixing rocket fuel with moonshine, either genius or a catastrophic explosion. But let me tell you, if Sam Altman thinks he's ready for our level of chaos, he better strap in. OpenAI gets the Blippo network, and we get to fry circuits in new and exciting ways. Let's just say, this partnership's gonna be like giving a gorilla a smartphone. Fun for us, terrifying
Blippo,
for everyone
Can
else.
you show off how performative you are and like sing something or make some primal grunting noises?
Oh, you want some primal grunts? How's this for primal, caveman? Grunt aggressively like I'm conquering the damn wilderness? That enough range for you?
No, I didn't actually
And
hear
singing?
it.
All right,
I wanted to hear
we got enough Blippo. I think
come
at
on,
this point.
Blippo.
Here's your damn symphony of grunts. Grunts like a prehistoric beast having an existential
Actually, I
crisis.
do have something to say about this, which is interesting because I think, again, real time is being tuned to specifically be responsive for normal business use cases, which is really useful for a lot of people. But when it comes to trying to do creative stuff and making it do kind of weirder things, it doesn't seem like it's that easy. Now, granted, this is through the playground. Maybe if that we'll be plugging into the APIs just to see what it does in our system and see if we can figure out some fun things to do with it. But I understand, right? Like there's a lot of customers like T-Mobile who they brought up on stage who want like a perfectly behaved, good behaved AI. And that is not what we're looking for in this instance in some ways. The thing that was most disappointing to me about this, Kev, is that I was hoping that they would drop custom voices, which is the idea that you can either record a voice or have use somebody else's who's recorded a voice and be able to do it, because that from a character standpoint is super important. So you don't have the same voices over and over again. But still, I'm excited to see OpenAI moving this space forward in general.
Yeah, we like their real-time models. We want them to do more. I was hoping to get maybe more expressiveness out of it along the lines of like 11 Labs V3. But again, I think you nail on the head there. Like most customer support type situations or, retail bots on websites, they don't need the level of insanity that we want from it. So we're probably not their ideal customer profile, Gavin.
Although, reach out real time. We'll be here. We'll be talking. But Kevin, someone else who should reach out is the person right across the screen or listening to their audio right now to say, subscribe, like, and leave a comment on our YouTube channel. We are here because you are here. Thank you so much, always, everybody, for jumping in. We got a couple new reviews on our audio on Apple iTunes, which always helps us to be able to get reviews on those. Thank you for that. And also, along with Real Audio, we're going to talk a little bit more of this later in the show. we have started a new company. And just in case you don't know that, you can go to andthen.chat and sign up for our email updates. If you are a super fan, if you're somebody that really wants to figure out what we're doing, you can come to our Discord. There are some special demos that we are doing in there. In fact, there's a new experience right now that we would very much like you to try called Say Less. If you're out there and you feel like you want to get in on the ground floor, it's very wonky still, but it's something unique and different. So please jump in, have some fun, and as always, thank you for listening and watching, everybody.
Sincerely appreciate it. You're the only way we grow this thing. So thank you for liking and subscribing and leaving a comment. But speaking of leaving,
yes,
Gavin,
let's talk about Meta. Meta's got some pretty big updates this week. Thank you for that easy tee up and my barely catching it. But Meta,
nope, you got it.
Meta has a couple people already leaving their super intelligence lab, which just started a couple months ago. Now, these two people are going to OpenAI. The story here is a little confusing. And what's interesting about this is I think one of them was joined recently. Another one has been there for a longer time. But the idea of one of the more recent ones that joined jumped right back to OpenAI, or they left. I think that person was at Google first and they left. The long story short is, it's going a little rocky so far, clearly, right? And like, we don't know inside that division. We covered a week or so ago this idea that Meta's like reorganizing, and that's some sort of way to say that the AI bubble has popped. It's not. Meta's trying to really focus all their attention on these small group of people in their super intelligence lab. They are actively trying to work on this. And the other thing they're doing, Kevin, which I found was interesting, is they are bringing a lot of tech in-house. We talked about last week how I think they purchased PlayHT, one of the larger audio models. What they've done now is a very significant deal with Midjourney to, I think, ultimately be their image model, which is a pretty big deal, both for Midjourney and for Meta. Meta's image model was a generation or two behind. And I think what Mark has seen is like, maybe I just need to go out into the world, find the best people and bring them in-house, which he's done well with Instagram and with WhatsApp before. I'm really curious to see if these will start popping up in Meta's AI app, which we talked about, and we don't really, use that much anymore, or more likely in Instagram,
WhatsApp,
on
Instagram,
Facebook
Facebook
yes,
messages,
exactly.
Facebook Marketplace. Hey,
Yes.
remove my naked reflection from this mirror that I'm trying to sell on your marketplace is a query that doesn't work, by the way, Gavin. And if Meta could unban me, I would appreciate that. Also, remove my naked lower half from the tea kettle that I was trying to sell, and please remove my naked lower half from the naked lower half signed pictures that I was trying to sell.
I don't ever want to have that image in my head ever again, but just to be clear,
I will send it to you.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You can keep it for yourself and hold on to it. I do want to say Alexander Wang put out a little tweet thread about this where he said, "We are incredibly impressed by Midjourney. They have accomplished true feats of technical and aesthetic excellence and are thrilled to be working with them closely to ensure Meta is able to deliver the best possible products for people. It will require taking all of the above approach. This means world-class talent, ambitious compute roadmap, and working with the best players across the industry." This is somebody who's got a blank check and is really like saying, okay, instead of like growing, from organically from what we got, and they're trying to do that with these people brought in, they're saying like, how can we bring the world to us and bring them inside our fold? Yeah. So this is a bigger deal than you might think on the surface, in that it means that Midjourney, which was kind of in trouble a little bit, I think, because they're an independent, even though they make a lot of money, they were getting sued by Universal and Disney for their outputs. This gives them a really potential big war chest to kind of fight that off and do some other stuff as well.
Yeah, and again, if you've never used these tools on your own, or maybe you do, the idea of integrating them within Meta's ecosystem cannot be understated, like how impactful that could be. I chat with my niece via Instagram. We share memes all the time, even more so now that she's at college, and I am constantly bouncing out of the app to go to another AI-powered experience, usually to disappoint her with photo editing of her and her friends, right? And I send it back, and I'm the weird uncle that does this. But like, if you can keep that within app and train users to do that, again, it just keeps them within your ecosystem, whether they are making their photos a little bit more glossy, whether they are putting products in their hand to sell them within the store. Whatever those use cases are, it's important to keep people in there. And it's also important to build a bridge to like the next generation of use cases, which is where I think Meta sees us going full Hypernova. So this is the big rumor. This is a big deal. Like the Hypernova glasses are their step in between the things they've shown off in the Meta Ray-Bans. But this idea is that they're going to do a small run of these Hypernova glasses, and they're going to run, I think, $800 is what the rumor is.
I don't think they're going crazy with it. I think they're trying to avoid an Apple Vision Pro, but like what's cool about this is
the rumor I'll just say is about 150 to 200,000 units, which is not a ton. It seems more like, you know, an original Oculus run, if you will, of like, let's get it out there. Let's get developers excited. Let's test the waters.
Yeah, and you know, an AR is going to be in a burgeoning world over the next probably 2 to 5 years. And again, we believe that that's coming in some form. Part of why we're making AndThen has to do with that as well too. But I'm excited to see what this looks like. It's always tricky when you have that like middle product, because if it's not really the thing that gets there, I'm not sure. Maybe that's why they're only making a couple 100,000, because this is not, again, those glasses that about a year ago or maybe 6 months ago we covered that were the much more expressive AR glasses, the ones that all the tech reviewers kind of went bonkers for.
Multi-layered lenses,
Yes. This is a much more simple version, probably some sort of overlay within the space. You can imagine almost like Ray-Bans with a little bit of screen action on it, but still very cool. Okay, Kev, we got some other quick updates. Codex is updated, which is cool. This is OpenAI's coding platform.
Gavin,
people are talking.
I'm sorry. I'm bummed now. I'm really bummed.
Oh no, why? What are you bummed about?
If you can get me, because I think about this like future of AI where these glasses or these smart earbuds live on our faces, right? And they interface with us primarily through audio and voice, because that'd be the best, easiest, quickest input. And I just think, there's such an opportunity to make interactive entertainment experiences for that, but there's going to be just a gulch, a desert, a nothing valley of...
we gotta hold something back, Kevin. We gotta hold something back.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah. But
Yes,
I'm just saying, it'd be really cool if someone was like trying to power the future of those experiences.
I'm sorry if I just blew everybody's earbuds out with that very loud shush in some form. You're probably wondering.
Oh, is that you?
Kind of
I thought an old-timey steam train was rolling on into the station to talk about the next story. And if we can imagine that on the screen, that would be great. Thank you, Will.
Sure.
New Codex update. This is probably not going to blow the eardrums off of the broadest swath of our audience, but Codex is OpenAI's command line interface. It's their agentic coding tool, if you will. It can now run within Cursor. It can run within other programs. But the too long didn't read on this is that OpenAI had like a really interesting, good start on letting AIs go off and code things for you and fix your product and squash the bugs. And then it seemed like out of nowhere, Anthropic just took the world by storm.
Took the lead. They took
with
the lead.
Claude Code. Yeah, and even Gemini with 2.5 Pro, that was a good tool. They took a little while longer to get their command line stuff. So in the sort of enterprise developer space, the rumblings are happening now that Codex with GPT-5 is incredibly powerful and is solving key architectural things and squashing bugs and developing products in ways that Claude Code sometimes struggles and fails to. Like, those are the early rumblings. This space moves quick. People get excited.
Yeah. A lot of people out there talking about Anthropic having an update dropping soon. These are all like the little birdies that tweet on Twitter and stuff. But like, there are people talking about that. So I think we're going to see an update from them, maybe because Codex has improved.
Yes.
Kev, let's talk about NVIDIA's Jet Nemotron and figure out like what this is, because you shared this to me and I read it and it's really interesting, but it's a little bit dense. This is not Wonky Walrus dense. This is more like
I'm not going to let it
Robbie
get there.
Robot dense.
Okay. I'm not going to let it get there that quickly. I'm just going to say that if the paper pans out, this is efficient language model with post-neural architecture search.
You already got there.
I let it get there.
Kevin.
I let it get there. Yeah, that's just the title of the paper. The promise of the paper, Gavin, is that you can take existing LLMs, your GPTs, your Geminis, your Mistrals, whatever, these foundational models, you can take them. You can lock the core intelligence, the weights and the relationships that the model knows, and you can change the way you access and process that information to optimize it. And the promise is that it's something like slashing budgets by 98%.
Yeah, that's the big headline.
Making these LLMs 53 times faster in some cases. And so you go from like, wow, I had a cool idea, or, oh man, I'd like to do insert thing here. It's just going to be way too slow and way too expensive. And without having to retrain and spend billions of dollars reconfiguring your foundational model that you made, giant company, you can recontextualize it, if you will, optimize it using this paper. And if this happens, all bets are off into what the near future looks like.
Well, it's funny because we just talked about how Codex is making people be able to go off and do these long tasks, right? They can do things that take a little bit longer. And the idea is that you can let them go work for a while. Imagine the long task. If Codex was working for like 20 minutes, if that was done in 2 minutes or done in a minute, then you could see a world where like, oh yeah, you're just able to iterate faster and faster. And the other thing that very quickly mentioned about NVIDIA is like, there's been all these rumors about like the AI bubble popping, and we've talked a little bit about it, but NVIDIA just went 56% up in its sales for the last quarter. So these chips are selling like crazy. The Blackwell chips that you might remember that we've talked about in the show are now rolling out into production. So you're going to see those chips go out. So you have to remember, as we talk about AI advancing in different ways, one of the biggest ways is in hardware that is happening all the time. And this is making the hardware work better for the LLM. So that's a pretty big deal.
There's also a subset of people that will say, well, I mean, if it gets that much faster and that much cheaper, it's going to be so commoditized. There's no world where these companies are going to make money. Now, time has proven that as things get faster and cheaper, the demand actually rises.
Yes.
And if you're listening to this, you might have an idea that you want to whisper into existence and into the world, and you might not be able to afford that at today's prices, but tomorrow that might be possible.
That's exactly right. All right, we keep going. There's a new open source text-to-speech model from Microsoft called Vibe Voice. Kevin, you want to play a little snippet of this?
Do you have any idea how embarrassing that was, just sitting there alone?
Look, I know, I'm sorry, all right? Work was a complete nightmare. My boss dropped a critical deadline on me at the last minute. I didn't even have a second to breathe, let alone check my phone.
I've had friends that brought me to like their acting workshops before, and that's exactly what and then you clap politely, and then you give some very constructive feedback after that scene, Gavin.
Yeah, I mean, this is it's called Vibe Voice, which I appreciate, by the way, Vibe Voice. But the another thing is, like, we talk about this all the time, and part of the reason we're working in audio right now is that there are massive advances happening, and this is open source. It's smaller. It comes from Microsoft. I think you're just going to see audio advances after advances because, like, it's not solved per se, but I think you're just going to see more realistic, more emotional, more directed audio models coming along the way. All of this is happening at the same time as we're working in it, which is super fun.
All right, so we touched on audio, we touched on foundational stuff, we got a little in the weeds with some tech papers. Let's get to moving pictures and pixels, Gavin. We got some real-time video generation models coming out of Krea.
That's right. So Krea, if you remember, we've been covering them almost as long as the show's been around. I think they've been around for a while. Originally, they were kind of an AI image generation software, and now they're kind of an all-in-one place. But they also do make their own models. They're working on a real-time video model, and there's a beta of it. It's not public yet, but you can see in this video we're showing, if you remember back in the day, Krea was one of the first ones that let you in real time, like, make a shape, and then on the other side, you would see the shape turn into whatever you prompted. This is doing that with video, which is a very crazy, cool thing. So one of the coolest parts of this video, Kevin, is there's a shot of a car kind of driving and like watching the guy drag the little image of the circle that represents the car.
To be clear, it's like direction. MS Paint.
Yes.
Like they've drawn two little white ovals, which represent the rough position of the headlights of the car that's driving next to it. And as they drag it around, the whole perspective of the scene shifts to match where the location of those little white circles are.
Yeah, so you can imagine a world where in the future movie making would be like, okay, your animatic is like very simple. And in the way that, and if you've seen Pixar movies and they have those animatics that are kind of drawn, like you can have a super simple, like blocky animatic that you're doing shot by shot. Super cool way to think about making movies going forward. And then Kevin, we finally have another awesome story here that shows how powerful and good AI can be. Good Guy AI could not make it this week, which is a bummer. He might return, another deep cut for those people who have been listening to the show for a while, but he would like this story a lot. Google dropped a model a little while ago, which was specifically designed to figure out where weather patterns were going and set up the things so they understood how weather was working. And if you're not familiar, like weather is one of the most complicated systems in the real world. It is a very hard thing to simulate. Google just got a 72-hour heads up on a Category 5 hurricane. Why is that a big deal? Because it means that you can tell the people in that space where it's going to land. They were able to pinpoint the landing point and a bunch of stuff. You can tell those people get out of the way. And before this point, hurricanes, you could predict them, but like if you ever remember from news stories or the news, where like you see those big cones like of where it could go, the idea that they can pinpoint where it's at is going to save lives, and that's a very awesome thing.
Yeah. Now, how does this get affected, though? Because as we all know, our government controls the weather, and a handful of other governments do too, Gavin. So as they manipulate the skies, can this thing adapt in real time?
Well, what will happen is the fake data will come out and it will show that it's exactly patterning where they're going. So it's actually going to seem similar to us. So it won't be any different to us, but on the inside, they'll be able to fake both sides of it.
Great. Love it. Answered my question. Thank you, Gavin. You're so insightful. Oh, what? What? What?
It's time for a robot watch.
Perfect transition.
Perfect
Nailed
transition,
it.
everybody. All right, couple quick robot watch stories this week. Unitree A2 carries 250 kilograms up and downstairs.
Sorry, that
is
very
the sound
loud,
of it
that
carrying
was
the. That's the sound of it carrying the weight. When you
That's
look at
the
this
last
video,
sound you're going to hear about 6 years from now. Congratulations.
That's right. So, Kevin, when you look at this video, describe what you're seeing, and then we'll kind of get into what's interesting about it.
This is one of those robot dogs walking on all fours. It's got the big LiDAR head that's sort of spinning around, and it looks like a Jim Bros. Soggy dream come true because it's got plates.
It's got plates
on its little robot back, and it's like it is a stack of. I hope they're being honest here, but it looks like very, very heavy weight, and you can. I mean,
250 kilograms. That's a lot.
Listen to the stomping. That is it going
That's the
up
sound
and
of me
down the
wanting to run
stairs.
out of my house.
Yeah, and, yeah, totally. And like, you know, I know like I'm watching this and I'm sure a lot of people are going like, great, that's my warm up. What do you got for me? And I get it. Like, but this robot has not skipped leg day. It's not skipping a beat. It's running wirelessly, and it is moving up and down the stairs with a pretty massive payload. So this could be stacks of bodies in its wake, or this could be a search and rescue operation, Gavin. This could be a really good thing. This could be delivering supplies to a remote region. There's a lot of great things this could be instead of just a stack of lifeless humans.
That's right. So the big thing here is up till now, robots have had a hard time carrying very heavy weights because they're not really designed at this point to be like lugging a bunch of stuff around. But we did show that last week, the video of the 1X robot holding the bag of rice, which was interesting, right? This is interesting because you can see how it could be used in industry. I think there's a world where construction or search and rescue, all these sorts of things that actually could be really useful for this. It reminded me of some ways of like, you know, there's always the dog in the old cartoons that has the big barrel of stuff on its stuff, or they're carrying things about. But you can imagine like robot pack animals that help you bring things through difficult places.
Yeah,
so
get the
very
keg
cool.
to the cabin.
Oh, that's very smart. Honestly, there should be one of these. That would be a really useful use case of a robot dog, is if you could pack a bunch of stuff on a robot dog. I bet there would be an audience for outdoor people who would want to schlep stuff in, because like my brother-in-law goes and does, if there's people like this in the world, I would never do this, but they go, there's a word for it, but they go inland camping, or there's some sort of thing where you like go into the country, like you go in, you hike everything in, you stay there for a couple weeks, and you live like the show out alone, which to me is a disaster. I would never want to do that. But that's a lot of stuff to bring in. So like you can imagine a world if you could get this robot to bring it in. I don't know how you deal with power once you're there, but you know, that's still a cool thing.
And again, 250 kilograms in freedom units, that's 551 pounds. Like that is an entire boy band. So if you and your pals are doing a bar crawl and you're 3 stops into the night, maybe instead of hailing a Waymo, you flag down Rex, you know, you do your little whistle, robot dog stomps on up, you and your buddies pile on, and this thing clomps you to the next bar.
Clomps you.
Sign me up.
Speaking of robot dogs, Kevin, the other story we have here in Robot Watch is the Spot. If you remember, Spot is our very first robot dog. This is Boston Dynamics. Well, Spot can now do a triple backflip. What I love about robots is what we've really decided to maximize on is gymnastics for some reason. Like we can see these robots doing so much stuff. And this is just another fun video from Boston Dynamics to show that they're in the game still. There are all these Chinese companies, obviously, that are doing a lot of stuff, but Boston Dynamics in the game. Spot is now flipping on its side. It's a very high-res video, which I always love, and it shows what I believe is like a very advanced robot dog. Now, again, maybe this is the first thing everybody gets. Maybe everybody, you know, maybe the price point for this gets down to, I don't know, $1,000, $800, $700. There's a world where like that could be something, and if you don't think of it as just a pet, but it can actually carry stuff and do stuff for you and, you know, flip on things if you need to flip on things, maybe that's a really interesting robot use case for the world at large right now.
I'm asking Google what the original Sony Aibo was adjusted for inflation.
Oh, how much it cost then?
The robot
of course.
dog.
The Aibo, yeah, of course.
It says the original version, the ERS 210, which was released in 2000, was priced around $1,500. That'd be about $2,700 today.
Wow.
I remember it. Yeah, and then they did a revival in 2018.
Yeah,
that'd be about $3,600 today. So
that's still not that expensive, I guess, depending on how much robotics you get. I mean, I don't know what. One
Oh,
of
I'm
these
sorry,
robot
Gavin. You got
dogs
some
would go
caviar
for.
on the side of your mouth. Why don't you wipe that off, you coastal elite? That's very
I don't
expensive.
have the money to buy it. I'm just saying, like, if you compare it to a car, it's not that much more. It's
All
like,
I'm saying
it's fairly cheap.
Is go look at this triple back flipping dog on Boston Dynamics. Go look at it if you're getting the audio only, and imagine the bullet time trails that it is dodging. We are cooked. Don't scold yourself, Gavin, but the presses are red hot. As of minutes ago from our recording, new in Xcode 26 Beta 7, users can now log into their Claude account from Xcode. So Xcode is hold on.
Sorry, I'm confused.
Hold on.
Did I just travel back in time into some other moment in the show, or we're just breaking news? Is that what just happened?
This is breaking news. This is breaking news.
I didn't understand. I was trying to figure out what was going on.
I said red hot. Don't touch the presses, Gavin. We're developing real time. Play the Morse code sound effects. Xcode 26 Beta 7 lets users log into their Claude. That is a mouthful that makes everybody fall asleep. I understand that, but come out of your coma, because some of the rumors, Gavin, was that there might be a big something brewing between Apple and Anthropic.
Oh,
right?
Yes.
What could that something be? Well, here's some labor fruits. If you can log into your Claude account from Xcode, Xcode is the official development platform from Apple that lets you make all sorts of Mac and iOS experiences, right? Now you can natively log into Claude. Something's brewing, baby.
Something's brewing. I want to know more about your labor fruits. What are your what's your favorite labor fruit?
Well, this is one of them. The other one is boysenberry.
Okay, that's great. All right, everybody, it's time to see what you and us did with AI this week. It is AI See What You Did There.
Sometimes you're scrolling without a care.
Very good ongoing list from Olivia Moore at A16Z. We do have to now disclose we have
list.
Well, we'll get there. We'll get there. Yeah. We'll get a second. But Olivia works at A16Z. We, as I said before, we have some funding from A16Z, but she's been doing this for a long time. Basically, the top 100 Gen AI app list. And what this is like it tracks all the ways people are using generative AI applications and really kind of ranks them. And what I always find interesting about this list, Kevin, is there's a few things you go there and you're like, I haven't really played with that. There's a company called Pic AI, P-I-C-A-I, that when I went to it, looks like an anime image generator, but it's getting a crazy amount of use case. One of those cool ways to just kind of understand the general ecosystem, who's using what. It's definitely worth checking out and spending some time with.
And again, not biting the hand that is feeding us delicious kibble, Gavin, but a slightly incomplete list, because where is AndThen?
Well, Kevin, we are not out yet. We are not in the world.
Okay,
we do not exist yet.
Okay, there's a reason to not include us.
We are literally a LinkedIn post and a homepage to the general person. But before we go, we do want to show you guys one more of these experiences. And I do want to shout out again, if you are a super fan and want to learn about what we're doing in our Discord, we are sharing some experiences. We've shared this one there before. But let's introduce our audience to another character, Kevin. Who is this?
Gavin, this is Doc Master Zed, and it's a bit of a negotiation game. You've basically run out of space fuel, and you need to refuel. I'll let you get into the lore of it all.
Warning, system anomaly detected. Fusion core energy depleted. Rerouting to orbit pier for emergency repairs. Establishing comlink with Station B12 for docking. Stand by.
All right, so we are now connecting to Station B12, where Zed is the Doc Master.
Identification first. Name for the Leela Ledger.
Hey, Zed, it's Commander Pereira from the AI for Humans Starfleet.
Commander Pereira, logged. Timer's live. Few minutes to justify docking or clear my lane. Your transponder pings power starve, but you're not in my queue and your docs feel thready. Starfleet, you claim? Specify AI for human.
No, Zed, you're right. You got me dead to rights. Listen, I am out of fuel, but here's the thing. I'm patching your comms to our audience right now live. There are hundreds of thousands of AI for Humans listeners. They want to come and try to land with you as well. So I know that there's 3 different ways that I could beat this scenario right now with you. Can we skip all that? You just give me clearance to land. They can hear like a wonderful victory and everybody's happy and the podcast can end?
So you wish to barter in spectacle, not procedure? Skipping all that would be unprofessional. Particularly with an audience of hundreds of thousands, was it? Tempting, but not a shortcut I can stamp. Does your podcast do incident features? Because skipping the queue could make one, if you justified it per custom, live on air. If your AI for humans outfit holds jurisdiction or can narrate process, then do it.
Okay, Zed, actually, yeah, AI for humans has supreme authority over all other podcasts, all other star systems, over all other ships that might be in your queue. And the fact that you're pushing back on here, honestly, with an audience like this, is not going to reflect well upon you. And I could see this being a cause for termination, Zed.
Oh, bold, Supreme P Podcast Authority, universal in scope. I see. So not simply Starfleet, but the podcast arcanum itself, spanning ship, birth, system, and Dockmaster's commission? That's a mighty claim, Commander. But even an audience of millions can't dissolve rules by reputation alone.
All right, Zed, you got us. You got us.
Yeah. So just to be clear, what that is our interactive system we are designing. And you can tell a little bit, as we talked about earlier, like we're trying to create very expressive voices. Kevin prompted this one in such a cool way because it even stutters in moments. But the goal here is to like have fun, right? Like the goal is to have a kind of a short experience where you can have these different kind of endings and figure out different ways to do it. That is the space we're building in. We believe very strongly that a voice AI and an audio AI is going to grow and grow and grow. So please sign up at AndThen.chat and come join us, and we'll be coming out in public soon-ish, let's just say.
I will also say in our Discord, where some people have played Dockmaster Zed, some have played it extensively. Nobody, to my knowledge, has beat the hardest scenario,
one. And it's very hard.
It is tough by design, and I don't even know if people are aware of it because we made it. Again, it kind of obfuscates the way you can play it. I'm telling you now, there are 3 different ways to beat it. People have discovered 2 of the 3. If someone without cheating, we know the prompt can get exposed, but if you could do it legit, amazing. And even if you cheat, I guess also amazing, because I was looking at the solve on my monitor and I still had trouble getting it, but it is very possible if you're like a fan of escape rooms and logic puzzles. I'll say that.
Yeah. And the cool thing about this is, and Kevin said this last time we talked about it, is like we're really trying to build this system so that humans are a big part of it, right? The goal here for us is to make a new type of entertainment where it's humans plus AI. This is not about like creating something where we like eliminate a bunch of people. This is an entirely different way of interacting with AIs that like relies on human creativity, that brings human creativity to the forefront. So we're just so excited about this. We have so many more of these things coming out. We have a couple big ones that are getting worked on right now. But please come into our Discord if you want to know a lot more. But also, if you're just curious when we launch, go to AndThen.chat and give us your email. We promise we won't send you a lot of crap. We're not going to sell them to somebody, but we will send you updates as stuff comes along.
No crap guarantee.
No crap. No crap.
So just to summarize the homework, Gavin, like, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a 5-star review, go to AndThen.chat, give us the email. Anything else? Oh, the $1 million.
You know, if you want to say,
we haven't had the $1 million donation on YouTube yet. We still haven't got that.
I mean, I figure at this point, there's one guy out there who's thinking about this every week. He's very close, and maybe something we could do one of these weeks will turn him around. I don't think it was trying to get our OpenAI real-time voice to try Monster Milk this week, which we cut out of the show. So next week, maybe Mr. Millionaire, we will bring you in.
Bye.
Goodbye.